do we have here, ladies and gentlemen? If this isn't disappointing, I am not sure what is. Things are happening in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 on a regular basis. Not too long ago, I tried to get back in to do a little more work on my career. And what did I find? An inaccessible career. Waited a little while, popped back in. Seems to be working a little better at least. I have access to my career mode again. So, what do you say we give this thing a shot? What if we find out that they are making some of these fixes happen in real time that are fixing a lot of the issues that I've seen over the last few days? Hopefully that you've been, following along and seeing what the errors are, and you're getting an idea just as well as I am of just how many roadblocks we have come across with the 2024 career mode. And I don't know what the fixed wing guys are going through at this point, but I'm pretty sure it cannot be too much far off from what I'm dealing with. I would hope not, but considering just the overall vast quantity of errors, crashes, and things along those lines that I've experienced, I can't see it being any other way for them. Either way, if you'll notice here on my company's screen, I always keep my crew in an off configuration when I walk away for any amount of time. Even if I want to go to like a free flight, I will make sure to come back and take this crew off, so I'm not spending money on insurance for free flights. We're going to manage my aircraft. I still have another 7 hours before my mandatory update checkup is due, but I am going to go ahead and put the bird through a little bit of a wash, throw her in the bird bath, see what happens. I'm not sure if it has any positive or negative effect, but either way, I think I'm going to get her done that way. So, now that we've got that done, the company hasn't been doing good. I've got a nice little trend line going on over the last 3 days. It's been okay. I am up to 238,144 credits in my company, and then my overall account in this section here in the upper right has 310,132 credits. Exactly what the difference is between the two of them, I'm not really too sure. Either way, we're going to see what's on the planet for us today. Anything new? What is going on? So, right now, you can also see that I have this selected as a freelancer. They did give you the opportunity to go back and go in as an employee, and that will certainly put up a different set of missions that will earn you less money. But when you start to get into this and run around the planet, what you're going to find is that it's actually bringing things up for you, like cargo hoist missions, cargo transports, things along those lines. That slack line. We've even got some search and rescue missions. I mean, that's what we're here to do. So far, we have been expecting to see this glorious just image of smoke being interrupted by our helicopters. Where is this? Has anyone seen this yet? Maybe with this update right now, we're going to find out if that's the case. So we've got somebody way down here. I want to check out the area that it's going to be happening in before I put myself down on the ground, because we need to know whether or not I'm actually going to be able to lift this person off of the surface with only a helicopter. We've seen lots of times right now where the Earth is kind of acting like an ice rink, and as soon as your helicopter touches the ground, it literally just falls off the earth and slides down like it's on a toboggan. Sometimes crashing the helicopters, sometimes the cutscene ends early enough and you can just max power take off while you're sliding down the side of a mountain. But I think with the updates that we've just heard about, that we've just experienced again, this has actually got a pretty good difficulty rating. I think, but it does say not available because it's Cub Crafters. Moving on, I think we need to change the icon of that. Yes, fine, great, it is a search and rescue, but let's put like a little airplane underneath it. Make that a little bit more easy to distinguish from a distance. I do have another search and rescue hoist for a boater located in the Gulf of Corcovado. Yeah, that one over there. Another difficulty of a 3 in the Airbus H125. This is actually, as an employee, earning only $51.50 for a credit. I'm in it for the money right now because I want more airlines in, or I want more helicopters in my airline. But I think we're going to give this one a whirl, just to see what we're doing with these updates. That's what we're here to do. How much have they put into this? We're in day 8 right now. It's okay. The load time's pretty average. It wasn't too accessible. Has anything changed with the electronic flight bag? Let's see. And lately, before these crashes took place and the updates were pushed, I actually stopped filling out this page completely and just ignoring this section altogether and moving on with the flights, and it was actually working more smoothly. The boxes in the sky that tell you where your flight path is were more accurately depicted. And I did notice that when I was here filling this information out and then submitted my flight plan to ATC, it just wound up going, "What's going on, Mark? Good to see you, man. Love it. You're back. Good stuff, man." Yeah, but I would see these blue lines on the earth kind of just stretch all the way through the top of the screen. My registration is H0. My keyboard's not even working. Let's try this one more time. Okay. 0675. Flight number is going to be something like 160. Not like it matters. Call sign. We are a search and rescue. Helicopter number 241. On sale today. Block time, we're going to use the time at the top of the screen. It says 9:41. We are going to try to lift off within the next, what do you say? I'm definitely not making it in 4 minutes. Let's push the 5, make it the PM. We're going to take our Navcom builder and make it standard. We're going to make our transponder a squawk altitude. Moving on down, can we put a passenger load in here and have it work? This is all about bugs fixes this time through. Can we do it? I only have one passenger. Nope, still not fixed. All right. Here we go. I don't know how this is going to go, but either way, we're going to find out if the smoke simulations, I'll play it again because it's so much fun. We're going to see if this smoke is actually working. What kind of chaos is that going to bring to our field of view? I have a feeling that this smoke is going to be extremely dense and cause like a whiteout type condition while we're doing this. I don't think it's going to go smoothly, but we shall see. I'm going to have faith. You know what? I'm going to try to do better with not knocking these guys as much as I have, especially when I did the video on the helicopter trims. Boy, was I having a... Okay, but I digress again, right? I just need to have a better attitude about this. It's working. It's working. I'm enjoying it every single time I get up in the air. Going through all of these little checks and everything like that, I'm all right with it. It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's new. The graphics are absolutely phenomenal. We found out that we could do partial missions without being in career mode using the H160 by Hype Performance Group a couple nights ago. That was pretty incredible. Well, cargo door. What do we got in here, ladies and gentlemen? Is it actually working to where you can look inside? The inspection doesn't actually do anything. Another cargo door. Well, we got a lot of room to go on vacation somewhere in this bad boy. Just in case the old lady needs to bring along some extra shoes. Got plenty of room in there. Look at just the fidelity on these engines, man. Absolutely cool. I would like to just give a great big shout out to the team for all of the work that they put into this. This is an incredible undertaking you guys have done. Absolutely astonishing. All right, we're going to go ahead and make sure our monitors turn on when we want them to. We are going to do the quick start We're going to go up to a battery on, generator on, anti-collision on, horn on, avionics on, open up the crank pad. We're going to arm our floats. It is in an idle configuration. We're going to come up to our overhead panel, engine start, flapper down. And then we're going to start a procedure. Ground team has been contacted. Pitot heat is on. Okay, okay. I don't see too much different yet. We'll see. You know, itty bitty pieces at a time.
All right, team, listen up. We just got word that a man named David has gone missing near Flying Ridge airstrip coast with a boat and other passengers. We don't have much time to find him. Conditions out there are rough and we've got no news so far. Let's get on site ASAP and start searching. We'll do our best to get you more intel or help you finding the site while you're out there.
Our hydraulic air came off. We are good to go for flight ready conditions. I'm going to bring our map into a view we can actually see. We're going to quick reply to our announced takeoff. I'm going to bring up my ATC panel at the same time because I do like to make sure that both of these are quickly accessible. What I've noticed a lot going on so far is that the mission steps don't always make this. See here, it's happening right now. It says takeoff from runway 8, but I haven't announced anything other than taking off from runway 18. But I need to announce a taxi to get there. So I'm going to go ahead and announce taxi. It's going to an initial climb out there. We got some animals on the pad. Okay. I don't know if you can see them out here, but moo and oink. Just sitting right on the old airport. I will say that those animations, well, there's one cow glitching in the back, but we're doing a little better with the ones that are closer. Cow shaking his head. We got some wagging tails. They're much better than the ones we had in the last sim. Look, we got one in the woods over here, too. Should we get out and say hello? I don't know if we're going to waste our mission here, but how can you not want to go up and just pet a cow real quick when they're walking around on your airfield? Watch, all of a sudden it kills the mission because I'm getting too far away from the chopper. Come on, Daisy. We just want to say hi. Electrical systems must be turned on in order to use the radio and speak to air traffic control. My helicopter is literally running behind me right now. I am not in it, which is probably the issue. Why that's kind of glitching through there. Wow, wow, wow. Look at old boy in the back. I don't think they like me much. Okay. All right. There's some things happening with the cows out here. Where's the old helicopter? All right, all right, all right. We're just gonna quick jump back in there, get in the air. Let's find these people. They're out there drowning without us. There we go. It is a relatively long flight to get out there, it looks like, so we're gonna be in the air for a minute. We are in the H-125. We do have our trims in place. Trims are functioning for me still, which has been a really, really great thing. There's no longer the arm wrestling match happening the whole time. It's pretty great. Changes the flight experience dramatically. We are going to climb to an altitude of 850 feet. Let's go ahead and do our depart straight off.
Charlie Tango 5, 2 traffic SAR, Heli 241 November, Sierra Oscar 5810.
I've got a landing light on. I don't know if it dinged me for it or not, but generally it'll ding you if your landing light is off if you're not taking off. So we'll see what happens if I get the negative of marks on that one.
No news yet from my side, but the relatives appreciate your help. They're quite concerned, as you can imagine. We all hope you'll bring him back home, buddy.
We do.
SAR Heli 241 Hawk 9, clock's
Approach
ticking.
SAR Heli
We'd better find
241
something
November,
quick. In such an
Sierra
isolated
Oscar
place, it's possible to get injured and not be able to call
type
for
1
help.
mile south of Charlie Tango 5 to 1,000 feet. Request flight following.
SAR Heli 241 November, Sierra Oscar 5810 approach. Squawk 4576.
just listen to some sounds here while we fly out there, get some sightseeing in. Maybe throw on a couple tunes in the background. Live the good life.
SAR Heli 241 November Sierra Oscar 5810. Did you hear my last transmission?
Yeah, I heard you. I'm busy setting up my stream, young lady. Give me 1 second.
SAR Heli 241 November Sierra Oscar 5810 radar contact 2 miles south of Charlie Tango 52.
I'm a little bit below my flight path here. Should probably get a little bit of speed up, start paying a little bit more attention to the flying than the stream. I'm not sure how the volumes are right now, but hopefully they're doing all right for you. Let's go for a ride.
Roger, SAR Heli 241 November Sierra Oscar 5810.
SAR Heli 241. Hope things are going well. You should be able to spot anything unusual from up there. Please hurry. People are worried, and it wouldn't be good if someone decided to go there by themselves and try to help.
You know, Alex, like you said, the speedy cows are still there. I would like to see them kind of work on those, but it is hilarious graphics. Those are some great little tidbits that we get to see throughout the flight, and I'm not mad. We saw the gill door open up on, or the gill window open up on the H-160, but it does not appear to be open. I love how they don't even give these people seats. What are you guys doing? You go swimming? With your GoPro? Who's getting in the water? It ain't you. Flight mic ready to go. Now, one thing I have noticed that is actually pretty cool with this is they're giving their survivors quite a bit of a bag to go with. So not only are they popping that nice, ridiculous orange cloud smoke, but they have mirrors with them. So every once in a while when you're on a search and rescue mission, you're going to find a little glint of light off in the distance that's flashing. That is somebody using the sunlight to signal the helicopter with a mirror. So they have more than just flares to notify you of their position from the air. It's pretty great. Nice little detail. Hopefully this survivor out here in the water, if they are still alive by the time we get there. I mean, we're doing a little bit over 110 knots right now, about 110 knots. If they're still alive when we get there, I'm curious if we're going to see in the distance the nice flashing light. There's not a lot of sun. We got some clouds coming in. Great little environment, though. I mean, this is looking good.
His relatives told us David doesn't know the site pretty well, but we think he might have managed to
doesn't know the site. Okay. Not a lot of people know the middle of the ocean. The reflection of the clouds on the water, I don't hate it. They do they do end pretty abruptly at the horizon, though. That's a little bit of a weird transition from the water's reflection back into the horizon. Much improvement to the exhaust of the chopper compared to 2020. And these models absolutely look gorgeous compared. I mean, they weren't bad in 2020. Don't get me wrong. I was loving that too. These look great. Excellent reflective surfaces. You're in the right spot in the right lighting conditions too. The real world reflections are actually happening alongside the aircraft. Another 8, almost 9 miles to go. Still haven't seen the light out in the distance. That would be pretty remarkable for a pocket mirror to be seen from 9 miles, 8.5 now. Overflying an airport without an announcement. That's a golf course. Okay. Didn't know we had traffic towers at a golf course. Is there anything on the EFB? Okay. I dyed the grass one more time. Apparently, we're still working through some things. Love it. See, it just constantly costs you reputation points. When they were pushing these bug fixes out, at one point, I was doing a mission in the, I think it was something like the China Sea, and all of a sudden, a big poof of orange smoke. I'm probably about 15 feet off the water, over a raft. Smoke isn't moving, I'm just over the water, and then all of a sudden the screen turns orange. Complete freeze of the PC, down we go. Waited a little while, buffered it, figured they're pushing packs. Okay, here we go. So then it's like, all right, we'll go back in, we'll do it again, and then that's when I had, you know, that inaccessible career thumbnail that looked so good when we were trying to do it. Yep, inaccessible. Yeah, this is great. We're actually between some clouds right now. Just some little guys hanging out right here. The water simulation looks so much better. Yeah. Another 5.5 miles. I'm getting some errors that my chat is either connected, disconnected, and going back and forth between that. I don't think it likes what's going on. Had a lot of issues with chat lately, coming in and out. I do see a bunch of smoke on the left side. It looks like we've got a ship going down over there. It's probably where the survivor is swimming from. He's drifted quite a ways away. The music is everything. It's like so epic. What you think? I don't know. They're all so quiet. Still got our landing light on. I think we could turn that off for now. Moving right along. We're cruising at a great 100 knots. I'm still looking for our survivor to be using his mirror in the water. Got a little bit of sunshine making it to the surface there. I am excessively high for what I would consider to be this search, but I mean, for an orange raft to be located in the middle of the water like this, I mean, you don't have to be right down on it. Actually, I think it would be preferable to be a little bit higher up in the air. Overflying an airport again without an announcement. So now we've got an aircraft carrier below us.
Heli 241 November, Sierra Oscar 5810.
The comedy of it all. I wonder what triggers that. Like, what on that surface would trigger ATC to think that I'm overflying an airport without an announcement? We'll just take some reputation point hits for that and call it a day. I think I see the... that could have been just the water right there. Let's try to get that spot over the prop. No, I think that was just a little bit of sunshine glimmering off the water. Yeah, I'm almost 2 miles away from the edge of the search zone. The brightness on the water out here might cause some issues with this mirror as well, but I am curious to see what we're going to come across. If it's just going to be the raft with the smoke again without any reaction to our props, or are we finally going to be able to see some of this? I would assume that would be one of the fixes just based off of how my screen went orange before. Yeah. And I'm curious what the density of the smoke will be like too, if it is in fact fixed. How much smoke is truly being put out by that flare? How realistic is it? That's what we're here to find out. Here we go. It's not a blackout. It's a tag out. We're in it. Microsoft 2024 tagged me out earlier, just with a whole bunch of crashes. Joe Gibbs Racing. Wish you could afford the sim, but you can't. Someday, my man, what I would do is just put $5 aside at a time. Just as something as simple as $5. I know what it's like to be in that position, my friend. Don't get me wrong. But it is one of the most relaxing things I do with my free time lately. Good to see chat's working again. Welcome aboard, Joe. Thanks for coming by. It's good to see you. This new 2020 version with these HEMS missions in it is everything we could have asked for. We were flying with the Hype Performance Group's Action Pack plug-in, third-party developed in 2020. It was good. I had a lot of fun with it, but the graphics left a lot to be desired. And now we've got everything we could possibly need when it comes to graphics. Alright, so I am coming across. I'm coming across the search area. I'm on the lookout for a mirror in the water and someone popping smoke. My flight bag looks like this. In training, they want us to make an orbit around this area at a predetermined altitude. So we are in the bubble. We're pretty much going around that area where the ship is. And I think I'm at a pretty decent altitude to be able to see an orange raft. Let's see here. Try to make these camera movements nice and slow. I am bringing the altitude down just a little bit at the same time. Try to get that speed right there around that 70 mark. I'm actually going to close up my communications real quick, give myself a little bit more visibility. You know, Joe, one of these days I might be in a position to help you out and gift that to you. You know, in the Microsoft store, it is possible to actually gift people with the simulator. The question is, do you have a rig that can run it? Because the game is one thing, the machine to run it is a completely different animal. Or would you go with something like an Xbox? Well, we definitely got some smoke we could try flying through, that's for sure. Not seeing it, I've passed anybody up. Definitely got my altitude down pretty good. Just keeping an eye out all the way around, making sure I'm not missing anything. I'm not seeing that glint of light anywhere. Where are we at in our search pattern here? Oh, I clicked the wrong button with my finger. Boo. Let's close that down here. We're in the middle of the little bay right here. Looking for a guy that can't swim after he came off of what appears to be a burning rig out there in the distance. Yeah, we're going to try to keep that speed relatively low. 65, we're at about 70 knots-ish, 68. Decent, decent. I'm sure he's not far. Tracking orange. Okay, all right. So yeah, starting to come away from the center of it though, so it looks like he might have drifted away from that. Let's come around to the left just a little bit. I do want to work on the sensitivity of my pedals for this craft as well, just a little bit more. Not seeing them. I'm looking for that mirror. I think I'm going to wind up seeing the mirror before I see the smoke. Should try to get a little closer to the boat. No, we're not too far off. Yeah, I think I'd see him from this distance. He's going to be out this way a little more. Just swing that back in so we can head back out to the center of our search area. This should be interesting. So what I'm expecting when I do get to the scene is to do a hoist deployment of a swimmer. And what I have experienced in the past with rescue swimmers is that you kind of have to drag them over the location or drop them absolutely right on top of their targets. And because there aren't any bubble windows out of the side of this aircraft, there's no real good way to stay like in the cockpit and only use the surface of the water as a reference, because the water is in constant motion. What I'd also like to see is somewhere on the EFB is once you have located your survivor, we need to be able to put a icon in the EFB that states where his location is. It can be, moving around and actually tell us exactly where he is in relation to the aircraft at all times instead of having to look outside. It could be one of the fixes that they've just put out. Maybe, maybe not. We will see. Okay, we're coming back around to the edge of this little... I don't know why we keep going so far towards the edge. I'm going to make a B run right back from the middle at this point and run this pattern straight across my search area. Keep an eye out for any mirrors reflecting light from the water. There's the smoke, pop, smoke, tally ho. Alright, so I am going to notify. It didn't even recognize it. My nose is pointed at him. Come on. See? And it gives you negative points for this kind of thing. Like, it wants you to use your intercoms when you find the target. Like, really? Oh, I didn't know that. But then when you do, even if I'm pointed directly at this guy, as soon as I see him, because the time it takes you to get to your survivor matters. But it's like a proximity thing. I can only make that successfully work if I'm just so close. I do like the fact that the smoke is appearing to react to wind the same way the burning rig behind it is reacting. So, and now it recognizes it without me even pressing the button. Okay. Can't wait to see how this goes. This could be a train wreck. Or a helicopter wreck. I think I might do this from outside just as practice because I would like to be able to get the cinematic part of this as part of the flights because it's all about the graphics to a lot of people. Like, hey, what are they doing with this? So I'm going to try not to crash into the ocean to give you guys a good view. I'm not going to be directly next to the chopper when we do this. I want to still try to maintain control of the helicopter while I'm bringing this down, but I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to see our flight mech in action and our swimmer, and we'll see what happens if we can interact with our smoke finally. I love the undulating water graphics this time. Some white caps that, not accurately being depicted, but however, such a vast improvement from 2020 to 2024 when it comes to that water simulation. We get the rotor wash effect on the water now, the whole 9 yards. It's absolutely incredible. I am trying to dial in a little bit of trim here as I come down, make this a little bit easier on the wrist, try not to have any Schwarzenegger moments. Now, the raft is not bobbing with the water. I'm noticing that right off the bat. It wants me to hover above the target. Okay, now if I get a crash right here and it goes back to desktop, kills the stream, the whole 9 yards, I'll hop back on as quick as I can. But I have a feeling we're going to interact with some smoke right now and we might orange out. Yep, see it coming over the top of the chopper? It's affecting it. They're fixing things, guys. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now what we need to do is get a recorder that's working. Oh man, is that hard from outside. This could take a minute. I really hope I don't dump this thing into the water, guys. With that moving water, staying in a solid hover from outside of the chopper is absolutely no easy task. All right, we've got our swimmer at the door. We're in a relatively stable hover. Super happy that the smoke is blowing with the wind today, and it's It doesn't seem to be enveloping the chopper. We're sending him down. How close are we going to get to our survivor? Looks like we need to pull forward just a little. Losing track of our rescue swimmer. Try to just... Ooh, man, is that's spooky looking. All right, I'm going to have to drag the rescue swimmer towards the survivor. What I would also like to see is a way to disconnect at this point. All right, let the swimmer go to the survivor. I need to drag him towards it. Ooh, oh, man. Well, if you can't tell, this is not easy. Trying to keep track of where the rescue swimmer is below the chopper when you're outside of the aircraft like this. And again, like I said, from the EFB, there's nothing that says where the survivor is in the water. I'm completely zoomed in on this. And looking outside of the aircraft, I mean, I can get an idea, but you have to remember that the winch is actually on the other side of the helicopter. In the Airbus H-145 SAR helicopter that Hype puts out, the winch is on the same side of the airframe as the pilot. So maybe from this distance, now that we've got him slinging underneath, let's come around just a bit. He's swinging. He's swinging. Oh, what is he doing? What? Yeah, buddy. Get some. That's fantastic. Did I come away from a hover and they tried to hoist him back up? Is that what happened there? I don't know if we're ever going to get this guy out of the water. He's probably thinking that we got a newbie pilot. We got a newbie crew. Hovering over the target one more time. I'm going to bring him a little bit further to the front. I'm going to try not to crash into the ocean when we do this. Those waves are right underneath the chopper at this point. We're going to quick release him down. I think I'm in a pretty good spot. We'll see. I might need to push a little bit more forward. I don't know how much more you want me to hover over this target. Yeah, is it a stable hover? Absolutely not. But come on, get some. Patient properly packaged. Medic 5 is coming in. Cable is tensioning. Hoist complete. We never saw him come back up. All of these messages are coming. Our flight mech is still outside. Smoke is still going. Hook stowed. Cargo door closed. Cabin okay. Secure. Medic 5 and person coming in. Where? I'm so glad this crashed. I'm so glad they did some fixes. Because that was a successful ocean rescue, if you want to call that a success. I've never played DCS. I have only played Flight Sim 2020 and 2024. I've seen a bunch of people playing DCS, but it's not my Jimmy Jam. It looks great. The graphics there are pretty decent, but the innovations that Microsoft and the team are making with this simulator are what I'm tracking. I mean, look at the innovation right here. We got our patient on board. And he's like, where'd you go? I love it. All right, let's get some speed up. Let's get this party started. Got my landing light still on. I don't know why, but there we go. Well, it wasn't on. It turned off. Oh, I turned it off. I'll be fine. That was an absolutely sloppy rescue. A rescue nonetheless, but sloppy. Yeah, see, you can see that magenta line cruising by. That EFB was zoomed in all the way, and there's no marker to tell you how close you are to that raft. And what am I going to do? Move over here and fly it from that door for a minute? I mean, it's possible, I guess. It could be something I could test in the future, but the airframe of this isn't really, in my opinion, really good for hoist ratings without more communications between the flight mechanic and the pilot. You know, give me a come left 2, come left 5. It was something like that. Some kind of communication between the crew to give you an idea to get you over your target. Instead, it's an absolute guessing game, much in the way that the cargo missions are. When you're sling loading something, sure, there's that little mirror that's out in front of the H-125 for that airframe when you're doing the cargo hook missions, but that's not accurate. It's not telling you what's underneath. You have to be able to do that either from just holding a steady hover by looking straight out of the windscreen or outside. Maintain reference and go from there. Yeah, I bet he is a little dehydrated. We just pulled him out of the drink. If you have something sweet. Is that loud enough for you guys? Can you hear what they're saying? I think the closed caption there on the bottom is pretty great, but either way. He wants something sweet. He's still peeking out the window. Absolutely amazing. Overflying the same airport once again, we've got the SS Kitty Hawk down below us apparently. I think we should probably wind up putting that view back into something a little bit more respectable from outside, even though we love this airframe. The Nova Search. Let's push him back just a little bit. Let's take this outside. I want to spend some time over on the Hype Performance Group's forums and search through some of what they've been talking about lately, if anything. I haven't been there in a minute. But I want to get more of an idea of what they plan on doing with their fleet of aircraft. The 135, 125, 145. I forget them all. But the 160 is the one I'm most interested in. That platform is by far my favorite helicopter to fly. I've seen some people have some really good success with the MD-500. Apparently that aircraft's airframe is now functioning really well.
I was wondering, do you always fly with the same team? It depends on the mission and the criticity, but I
Got a little slip happening here. That wind. Gotta love it. What an improvement. Even with old boy still chilling outside the window. I'm in. We haven't touched ATC in a while. We should probably let somebody know where we are. Oh, look, I can't. Perfect. We're just going to keep flying. Hopefully it triggers it sooner or later. It wants me to tell you when we're flying over airports, but it won't let you.
That's quite a nasty cut you got there. Let me clean that up.
Do we have any graphics of him cleaning them up, or is he just gonna hang out the window and pretend? Yeah. Got any cuts on you, dude? I don't see any nasty cuts on you anywhere, do you? No. Coming through some drifting. Coming through some gusts. You just keep working that hoist out there, old boy. You're doing great. Keep up the good work. I love what you do. Wow, I totally lost control over the flight right there. Where'd who go? Just slightly outside of that flight path. It's all good. Coming back over our golf course airport. Let's see if I can't avoid that golf course this time and see if we get the same error. Well, yeah, I did it on purpose. I slid this way on purpose. I wanted to see what would happen if I missed this airport down here. Stellar. I would like to use some track IR instead of just a hat switch to move these cameras around at one point. Maybe some VR glasses. I'm not sure where I'm going to go with that just yet. Never used anything like that in 2020. Didn't really feel the need to because I kind of like flying the 2D cockpit. That movement gets to be a little much after a while. We're barely moving too. Okay, let's fly this thing. Every time I do this, I keep looking out of the helicopter instead of at my gauges. I'll get better at this one of these days, I think. That's what we're here for. Comparing 2020 to 2024, I had the 2020 HEMS missions down pat. That was a lot of fun. Well, it didn't tell us we were getting ATC infringement by going over that golf course, so that worked. See, they are fixing things. They did fix the smoke simulation. I didn't get into it as much as I wanted to. Perhaps there's another one of these available that we can get to after this. Try it one more time. It did seem to, when I first approach, react to the wake turbulence. But I just didn't stay in it long enough. And honestly, who wants to, right? I don't want an orange out. I don't want to fly in a white out or an orange out. Having the trims back. Super helpful. Unless you're looking around the inside. What's up, Euclid? Good to have you back, man. Glad it's helpful. That's what we're here for. Did you happen to use any of those suggestions when it comes to trimming the helicopters? How'd that work out for you? I'm curious to see if the community here is okay. Here it's asking me for another ATC interaction without the ability to. I'm even using the quick reply. Maybe I should just get back into the pattern. Tell you what, man. Even the shadows, the ray tracing of the cloud shadows over the surface, it's not a harsh line. It's gradient. I mean, there's the improvements that they've made with the atmosphere are just nothing short of incredible. much did I slow down since I was out of the aircraft? Yep, just like that. All the way down to 60 knots. It's not bad though. We're getting 2 3/4 mile away from our downwind entry. I do have tried to keep these boxes off and just use the flight path on my EFB, but even with the settings changed in the menus, it seems like anytime I'm in career doing these, I mean, it winds up to be helpful a lot of the times just because I'm so distracted, but I've tried turning them off and it doesn't seem to be working. They stay on no matter what. I'm just glad they don't have crash physics. And the towers, you can see we got a tower here just sitting over the EFB. These high altitude things that they've put on the ground are a nice addition. You really do have to watch out for them when you're in that low level flight. They can creep up on you. It's great to see that addition there as well. Yeah, helicopters is pretty much where I spend most of my times, and you are absolutely right. If you're not trimming that chopper, your wrist is going to have some carpal tunnel. Just a carpal, I can't talk. You carpal tunnel in just a couple hours. Can we quick reply? Nope. Do we have any ATC interactions available yet? Contact approach.
Approach is SAR Heli 241 November Sierra Oscar 5810, 2,300 feet.
SAR Heli 241 November Sierra Oscar.
Let's get down.
Approach altimeter 29.902, continue as planned.
Nice day for flying. Our airport isn't been contacted yet. So in our flight bag, we are going to CT52. We're going to go to our nearest airport list, CT52. Make sure we got them on the horn. Announce the position. Now we're getting there. Our runway for this flight is 18.
SAR Heli 241 November Sierra Oscar 5810, 1 miles southwest 1,000.
It's announcing the position already. Dig it. I like to announce the position at just about every point in the leg. Coming around. It's, I like the choppers that we were able to put the EFB completely away too. It's really helpful. You just fold that thing out of the way, open up that bottom window. Trim, trimmity, trim, trimmity, trim, trim, true. I don't know if it's nice yet. It's an experience going through this with the crashes and everything right now. Honestly, I think holding off isn't all that bad, because if you get into it a little bit later on, everything that I'm experiencing with these crashes, man, you saw that thumbnail, right? Inaccessible. You want to experience that every time you get into the sim. Don't get down on yourself for not being able to do it. You know, I mean, I'm happy to share the content with you, but what's also happening is I'm sharing you some really frustrating parts of my day. The H125 trim is, I'm going to get back in the box here. The H125 trim is touchy. It's kind of like a bump and run, so like a press, hold, release, and you can see the nose sort of take, you know, either a dive or a lift a little bit of time as you put that input in there. It's not a steady button press, it's a bump. It's like a press, hold, release, and then once you do that, it trims it out slowly, you know, but it eventually comes around. It does take a minute. Way too slow on my approach here. I've come out of Sagai right now. I'm done. 40 kilometers an hour. All right. Let's see if we can put a little speed. This is also a part of this sim that I've experienced a lot of issues with the grass fields specifically. It's kind of hard to identify where the front and back of the runway are, and you want to make the approach to, you know, those 1,000-mile markers or 1,000-foot markers. And on these runways, you don't really see those, so you just try to calm down at what you think is the center of the strip. Get to that altitude that they're looking for an approach, and then it triggers it. But then once you do that, things start to get a little weird in the communications between ATC, mission steps, and everybody trying to work in conjunction. So right now, I have to get down to that altitude before it says I've made an approach to the runway. Sometimes, if right here, there we go. Undesignated landing area. I'm sorry, what? That looks like the middle of the strip to me. On our EFB, where are we at? Let's go. I want to just stay here and hover for a second and check this out. Where on the runway am I? I'm on a runway. Well, took my hands off the controls. I went down in that ground effect. Exit runway. See, but here we go again. It's not telling me where it wants me to park or how to get off the runway, even though I'm seeing the runway there. So, wow, I'm bouncing around a lot here. So what I've been doing is actually finding a spot on the runway to touch down, which will often trigger ATC. Drifting. Come on, she's in that bubble. A little rough. But sometimes what it'll do is trigger communications with ATC. And I need to announce a taxi. And even though it says exit runway in mission steps. No, there we go. Still nowhere on the airport are we seeing any way to get off, even in the flight bag. Let's see if we can come down towards the other side here. I do see some buildings off there on the right. Fast taxi, high altitude. I'm a rebel. No, I have not tried the toggle visual assistance displays. Does that work for you? I mean, sure, let's park next to the house. Why not? Is it even going to recognize me leaving the runway? It does work for you. Very cool. Nice. Well, I believe I'm off a runway. Am I even going to be able to shut this mission down proper and get credit for it? There's the exit runway. Stop your aircraft. Well, I am stopped. Do I need to come down a little bit more into a spot maybe? Like a hold short altitude? Or do we just land this bad boy? Usually it wants you to go to like a hold short first. I was getting rough with those landings. Well, there you go. Alright. I guess I just found that parking spot. Let's go through the quick shutdown. We're going to bring this down. We're going to bring our horn and our gen down. We're going to take our hoist off. Oh, maybe that triggers this guy from leaning out the window. Nope, not at all. I like that. All right. Good to know. It's a great tip right there, DRT. Thanks for sharing that one, man. Dig it. Toggle visual assistance. Still hanging outside, working that winch. Man, he's good at what his job is, man. He's good. The dedication. Let's see what this one did. Target localization time, 89%. Retrieval time, 47. Yeah, that was pretty awful. See, negative impacts for overflying a golf course and a non-existent aircraft carrier. So that's painful. Undesignated landing area. I'm not sure what that's about. I appreciate that, DRT. I dig it. Thanks for watching, man. It's good to have you here. Look at what this is doing to my reputation, man. I had this thing right next to an S before the tragic crash we had earlier today, when I wound up in just a cloud of orange smoke all of a sudden. This has been wonderful. The adventure. See, and we were talking about this earlier too, where you guys are like, you're feeling left out on this. I don't know. What do you think you're missing? I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. But it's frustrating. Lots of missions available. Look at all the mission sets that are coming up here. But this, again, is in the employee version of it. Let's get back into some freelancer stuff with my own helicopter. Let's make them big bucks instead. This is the part where I kind of go away from the search and rescue part of it just to earn the money, right? So let's show you what we're doing. I mean, I've got some pretty good coin going right now. It's not bad. What kind of money do you have with this, DRT? What's your level at? Your credit score is around the same as mine? Are you pushing the $1 million mark yet? Where are you sitting? Let's see if we need any maintenance. Not yet. We still got another 7 hours before our mandatory update. I'm good with that. Let's do some career missions instead. These are just some simple flight seeing missions. I am doing them in the Cabri. Yeah, 3 million missions is a lofty number. And they're not supposed to duplicate, but I noticed that that one mission that we were seeing at the very beginning of this in the mountains where the woman was stuck, that stayed there for a really long time. And I just never went back to it. Curious if it's still there. So now, okay, wait a minute. It's going to cost 27,330 credits to get to this spot. I'm going to go ahead and say no to that, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to back out. Yep. Deuces. Let's get a little bit closer to home. There's our EF. Yeah, right there. See, I've been chewing up these missions pretty good on this side. No aircraft there. We should have. No? All right, let's go. Let's go somewhere close. Try this one more time. Level 90 something right now, but have been spending most of the money on all of the certifications. Yeah, you're running back and getting like all your endorsements. Yeah, I never went back. I wonder how long that mission's going to be stuck there. I'm going to avoid the EFB because that doesn't seem to be doing anything at this point. We're going to transfer for 310. Do a little simple flight seeing mission, maybe running some more animals out here. Were you here for the beginning of the video when we saw the cows running around on the airport? As soon as I walked up to them, they started scattering. That was pretty funny. get her done. Flight seeing. One of our favorite things. Alright, man. Check out the beginning of it when I'm actually loading into the airport before that mission started. It's not at like the very beginning, but close to it. There's a whole herd of cows sitting on the runway. Let's check some oil. I would like to be able to change the color of this aircraft. I mean, it is kind of cool that they put your name on it. You know, your company name does get printed on the side of the aircraft, but you don't have the option to repaint or color it. You just get the marshmallow. Yeah, the fact that the animals do move around is pretty incredible. You'll actually see that their cow tails are swinging around, they're shaking their heads. There's a lot more movement. It's just so much more immersion. I'm not mad at it. I like it. All right, let's get her fired up. We like to do things quick, fast, and in a hurry around here. I just throw them all on right away. We'll put that one to auto. We'll close the switch. We'll come back, turn on some gas. Turn on some mags. Oh, plasma. Roll that thing up. Maybe just a little more. Something like that. I'll throw the old starter on. You should take it. There we go. Fuel mixture is in a good spot. Engines are coming up. I did not grab the crew. Hold on. Can I get back to the crew? Thank God. Could have ruined that one. I've seen that go bad before. Exit out of the mission. So that's a fix. There's one thing they fixed. Yeah, they did say that we would be able to customize it and everything like that. I mean, there's an option to give it a wash and to paint it, but there's no like deeper menu system that says what color or scheme, if there's like a list of different kinds that they have that are default, or if you can like put your own logo into it. That would be pretty cool. Let's spool this up. Let's announce that taxi. Let's see if we got somebody on board. How you doing today? Better than me? I doubt it. We're in 2024, taking a cruise. It's unfortunately in a Cabri, but it is what it is.
I'll tell you straight up. I'm not feeling very confident, but I do trust you, Captain.
I've seen these taxiways go through buildings on occasion at the same time as not seeing them at all. It's a nice variety. It is helpful, I will say. Sometimes I'm not paying that much attention to the EFB. You know, I'm not going in that deep all the time. But you used it in the alpha. Okay. You could make your own, or can you like import, like if I got a PNG of my like logo? That would be cool. I'd like to be able to see, like, use my own company logo on it. And this one trims out real nice. I will say that the Cabri's model is trim authority works extremely well. This one's more of a tap. You can actually see it kind of reacting as I'm floating down. I love what they've done with the towers, though. Everything's just so much more high fidelity. I do have my graphics settings for streams down quite a bit, just to allow that bandwidth to keep, you know, eating. It's got an appetite. I'm only on Wi-Fi. I didn't see the option for an import, but the system was in depth on designing some choices. But yeah, it would be nice to import. Absolutely, I agree. I like the insider information too. I wish I could have been a part of the alpha. Tried it without success. Yeah, we are booking for a taxi, huh? Can I cut corners? I think I should cut corners. I'm going to. We'll see if it dings me at the end for traffic. It's not like I gotta drive through the grass or anything, you know? Ooh. Should have trimmed that out a little bit more. I don't see any animals out in the fields here just yet. Keep an eye on that as we go. And this is the spot where I wind up having to use both ATC. Let's see, it's already got that. We're just going to announce the taxi anyway as I try to find my mouse. There we go. We'll get our communications up here in the corner. Very cool. What work did you do that was transferred? See, now what I'm going to do here so I don't get dinged by ATC is I am on the runway now, but ATC still hasn't really moved. So I'm going to set it down on the runway if it will let me get past my wake turbulence. Sloppy, see? And then when I hit the ground, it triggers this. So now I can actually give an announced depart straight off. Coming up to 850. Take this little lady for a ride. I do also enjoy the fact that our windmills are spinning this time around. That's a nice touch as well. Generally, I like to keep these flights at around the 60 to 70 mark in between those areas until I get to the orbit. So when Microsoft opened the World Hub to allow people to edit airports, I managed to participate. So I helped fix some of the airports in my home country. That's fantastic. And that transferred from 2020 into 24, man. Super cool. Where are you from? I'm in the Chicago area, just in the United States. Been here my whole life. Such epic music. I'm sure Grandma likes it, though. You like it, don't you? You know you do. The Dominican Republic. Absolutely fantastic. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming, man. Super cool to have you on board. Really awesome that you participated in some of the corrections to airports. I've done a little bit of graphic artists work in my day as well. I've used to work in television for quite a while, so I got to do a lot of graphics works, but never anything in the 3D modeling outside of just a few minor things for commercials. So to be able to have some product inside of a simulator this big, kudos. This is an incredible undertaking. All right, we're gonna keep that speed nice and slow, and we're just gonna nicely start descending into our orbit. Coming in a little bit high, but we'll sink into it probably just in time. Bingo. That's the way we do. I want to see this way, don't you? You want to be able to see what you came to see. I like to slip around these a little bit. Give me that strafe. The improvements are many as well, DRT. Many, many, many improvements. And even though this has been a rocky launch, the improvements are many. I don't think I want to come into a hover, but I do want her to be able to spend some time. I can't really get these sightseeing missions to have like a rating of over 75% for like the sightseeing quality. Yeah, that was a great mission. I think just stuck there forever. I like when the very first time I came across somebody stuck in the woods like that, I did actually successfully turn off crash physics and landed in the woods. Not able to, I shouldn't be able to do it, but I did. It was absolutely hysterical. X-Man 2, thanks for coming by. Oh, this platform is literally built on a bedrock of potential, because now they can push these updates out there without you having to do anything. All right, and with the fidelity that they have on the planet now, what they should be able to do is just literally update a model inside of their software, because now that the framework has been upgraded, it's going to be pretty easy to build a new house around it. Let's do, yeah. Do what did he? I'd like to find some animals out here for her to see. I'm not even going to try to pass it. Sarah's going to stay buried in the woods.
Wow. Energetic in here you are finally.
The possibilities are endless right now with this. Definitely worth the update. I did go the distance and get the aviation edition, because why not just get all the helicopters and planes that you possibly can and get that de Havilland beforehand. I had a lot of fun flying the de Havilland water tanker around in 2020 before this launched. Once I actually put the de Havilland in the water in 2024, though, I couldn't get the thing out of the water. Yeah, now career mode grays out the option to turn those options on and off. It doesn't even allow you to turn crash physics off anymore. That's something that you are no longer able to use. If you are in a career mode, you are stuck in real world physics. And again, that is Jorg's decision to make this as realistic as possible. They weren't going for a simulator, not a game, which in a lot of ways I'm behind. However, I think the actual simulator itself has a real game feel to it. It just does. Especially the way you have to progress from one to another, and you have to get this before you can, you know what I mean? It's the achievement based. And sure, that exists in real life. You know, you can't just. No, not everybody's a trust fund baby. But it just feels like a game. I'm curious if that SAR mission will eventually just fall off the map, because they are updating those, I believe it was weekly. I find it interesting that I could even see the reflections of these frames in the windows of the buildings below us. I have tried landing next to a herd of animals in this Flightseeing adventure, and it actually tells you that you're not supposed to do it. Get back in the air, and if you stay there too long, you fail the mission. That was always fun. Nobody out running track? Nobody playing soccer? I would like to see some power lines swinging between these things. I'm pretty sure there was a third-party add-on that actually put that into place. Never used it, though.
Looks like you've got the best office view in the world, Captain, and I'd love to be in your shoes for some time.
Interesting. I actually think that those are going to be larger patches than the ones they're already putting out, because there is no doubt about it that they are pushing these in real time, almost hourly. I mean, what they announce is one thing, but they can do a lot behind the scenes that they don't need to tell us about, obviously. I mean, I'm in the middle of a mission and it crashes and saying, okay, it's got to be happening, but those bigger pushes are probably what they're expecting to do the 2nd and the week of the 9th.
I'm feeling better now. I'm almost enjoying the ride.
Uh-oh, we got something. I knew I should find a field. I think these are horses. Oh yeah. Sorry guys. Don't mean to scare you off. I'm just trying to make sure my passenger here gets the best experience. I'm sure the homeowner around here is a little bit perturbed that I've decided to scare their herd. Very cool. There are quite a few of them out here. See, at this point of the sightseeing mission, I want to be able to take my passenger out of the aircraft with me instead of it saying it's a failed mission. Let's go ahead and also incorporate some on the planet adventures while we're there. And I have a feeling that that's just one more thing in the pipeline that they could do now that they have this platform with such capability. I think things like that are coming. I'm trimmed out in the 125. Go back and look at that trim video I set up. It's a little bit wonky, but it does work.
Now the seats are very far in for heat.
I've got my H125 trimmed. As a matter of fact, I can go into any helicopter at this point and trim it. I went through in the video. Oh, we got more. We got more. There's some stuck down in here too. In that video, I actually wound up putting trims on several different aircraft in real time, and it was functioning properly for me in every model. These look like cows. This girl's got to be having a good time right now. If I don't get a good rating on this, yeah, the thumbnail's got a picture of a Holy Grail on it. There is a way. It's all about key binding and making sure that your key binding doesn't have any conflicts. That's the biggest thing about it. Once those are worked out, then it's up to the individual airframe and how it reacts to those inputs. Sometimes it's a single button press. Sometimes it's a push and hold. Sometimes it's like a bump, push, hold, release, push, hold, release, and then set. It's different for every airframe, but it does work to a degree. Very cool. That's a big fix right there. You can disable packages for those who have been having issues with crashes to desktops. Very good info right there. And a safe boot. I'm hoping they also fix the menu system when you're in there doing your controls configurations. There is a save and exit, but there isn't a cancel and exit. If you change your mind in that process and you can't remember all of what you've just altered in your settings, there's no way to cancel out of that operation. There's only the option to save. It's a little bit of a lengthy video. I think it's something like 30 minutes. I was a little bit frustrated by the time I put that video down, but it's in there, man. I spent so many hours trying to get that to work. She got to see some cows, some houses. This better be a good rating right here. Yes, it would be a fantastic idea. I mean, every other menu system that you're in when you're trying to save a document or whatever it may be, there is always the option to cancel. I mean, that's IT 101, you know what I mean? Like coding. I had the H160 by Hype Performance Group trimmed out perfectly. That thing is just such a pleasure to fly. Something that Ella was thinking about too is with that, you know, that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's a dual turbine engine. Well, so was the Sikorsky Sky Crane, but there's no other endorsements needed. At least I haven't got that far yet. Are there twin engine helicopter ratings that we need to get here? That should also be a thing. What do you say? Like, all right. That spider web of endorsements for the fixed wing is pretty big compared to the rotorcraft side of it, and I do think that there is more room for that as well. A twin turbine engine rating might be a good idea. And even though we're just flight seeing, man, it's so much fun. Why just she's having fun. I know you. Oh, she looked away. She's probably mad at me. She wants more animals. Oh, now, yeah, see? As soon as I said that, she looks back at me. She wants me to find more animals.
Good thing I have photos, or no one back home will believe me when I tell them what I saw.
I agree. The photos, they're everything. Haven't tried the photographer mode. There's so many different options in here that I haven't tried. I did one of the activities with the landing challenge on the helo pad out in the oil rig. But that's, I mean, as far as the other activities go, I really haven't dived too much into it just yet. I want to get some aircraft in my company working behind the scenes, so even when I'm not out flying for the company, somebody is. And I can just get that residual cash flow just pumping. There's room for expansion,
Can't imagine how beautiful sunsets
without question.
there. All those rich colors.
Yeah, man. The testing is a struggle for sure. The smoke coming off the stacks in the background. I mean, come on. This is looking great. Get that ATC call going.
Like floating above the world.
Yeah, that's exactly why that photo mode is there, you know? It's exactly why it's there. All right, here we go again, needing to use both ATC, and I get it, you know, sure, but select a runway for landing. I think we're coming into 7 here. Full stop landing position. Just keep those mission steps where they need to be. There's a very interesting set of markings on this runway where we have the side that's closest to me without any. And then we just got a little bit closer to the far side of the runway. They condensed all of those markings down. I wonder if that's like a UV mapping issue. I can see some little white dots on the runway too as I'm coming in. I'm not sure if those are coming through on the stream or not, but there's some things happening with this little airport right here. Unless that is just a gigantic taxiway waiting. I mean, if you can put a whole bunch of people on hold right there. That's some little car driving. Okay, I see you. What? I didn't catch what that said in that upper right hand corner, but I got a nice little red flag for something. We even got float planes on the tarmac. And flying this with the graphics settings higher is even better than this because you don't get as many areas that look like 2020, kind of like we have here. It starts to get a lot more high fidelity. A lot sooner. Like the bubble around the aircraft is much smaller in my current settings than it is when I'm not online and streaming. Well, I can already see some ground crew off to the right there. Pretty sure that's where I'm going to wind up. Well, there's taxi markers, so you can actually see the lights on the ground along that path. And those wouldn't, I don't know, I don't think those would appear in the middle of the runway if it was part of the paint scheme, if you know what I mean. I think it's intentional. And again, the quick reply to announce taxi to parking is not functioning. So if we find a way to wobble our way down back to the ground here, reading chat, reading all mission steps, taking your eyes off of it that many times, not recommended. I didn't want to announce taxi. I wanted to announce taxi to parking. Now it's going to have me going back to a runway. Damn. Is it going to let me do it? Yes. All right. Thanks. Thanks for keeping the option available. Just trying to keep those points up there if I can. See, but now it's saying a taxi to parking, which was over here. But it's still got the taxi markers going to the left. Well, it's 0.17 miles away, so yeah, maybe it is that far away. Read much? I've got my quick reply bound. Got it bound on a button on my throttle. Statistically, I think I'm running into more issues than most. And I'm curious why, if it has anything to do with the fact that I am just on a Wi-Fi network. But I mean, I'm getting pretty good speeds. Most often I'm getting like a 250 meg. So, I mean, it's not slow. It's not that fast, but decent. Just curious to see like what might be contributing to it. Nice model. I love it. I also want to... Ooh. That got a little janky. I really got to stop looking around my screen so much when I'm streaming. And all of a sudden, the tail look rudder authority of this is extremely touchy. One more in the books. Let's go ahead and do the quick shutdown. I leave everything off except for the master. I'll take everything back down. We're going to kill that. Come up to our plasma mags, shutting that all down. We're going to roll back some throttle. Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, 250s. I mean, I'm not sneezing at that. It's very interesting though that like I'm getting so many CTDs. I've had full system freezes. It's plentiful. I'm not even going to wait for things to spool down. We're just going to continue to take that fuel mixture back. There we go. Let's see what the score is. See that sightseeing quality, 76%. What do you need from me? Everything went perfectly during this flight. She went out there, saw some horses and cows, and you still only get 76% for sightseeing quality? What do they need? What am I missing? I do get the S rating. Fine, great. I'm going to get some of those reputation points back. But what do you need to do to get that sightseeing quality to 100%? Not a bad take. A little bit of an update there. All right. We're not bad. I'm only at the 60 level. I'm definitely not pushing the 90s. That's for sure. I don't know how you got to 90 so quickly, DRT. You must just live in sim. That's great stuff, though, man. What kind of mission sets we got out here now? Is it all just going to be photo seeing, or do I need to get back and do something else? Come on. I know it gives you other options in different parts of the world too. But it seems like when I'm in this freelancer mode, because I only have the Cabri right now, I'm not even able to do like transfers of people from one airport to the other. I'm kind of stuck doing these flight seeing missions or paying a ridiculous amount of money to go to one of these areas. Because this is technically open right now. It's got the density area over the top of it. No missions available. More sightseeing down in Australia. And the cost to get these down the cost to get these down here is just comical. I don't want to be stuck in the employee mode just to do search and rescue missions. I'm earning much more money doing the flight seeing missions. Wow, I didn't notice this before, but from up here you can see the aurora borealis over the planet. Interesting. Nice touch. Very cool. Very cool. I just noticed that. You might want to delete the streamed packages folder in cache and let the sim reload these things that might have been bugged during the first few days. I did, and most of the issues I had are gone. Look at you. The overload day was so... Wow. Okay. And that runs live. Seriously. Go Microsoft. Very good information here, man. I like that a lot. So there's streamed packages folder, okay. And I know that this folder system is a little more buried than the other one was. But I'll find it. That's good info right there. I'll definitely check that out after this stream is over and get that taken care of. At least give it a whirl. 1,200 credits, 12. They're all 12. Everything's 12. All right, 1,250. A little bit more. We'll do one more. It's great progress, though, even though, it's not 100%. I was able to complete a hoist out of the water, and that's what crashed the system before for me. So even that is a great improvement. Loving to see it happening in real time. It's cool to be a part of. It's great to be able to share it with you guys. Ooh, we got some conditions this time. What's up with that? Oh, we're just high level. Okie dokie. Gonna transfer her over for 580. Not too shabby. I haven't named my chopper yet. I don't think I will either. I need to spend more time in those forums, apparently. Good to know. The Microsoft forums are full of information, apparently, that I have been unable to find. Nah, honestly, I just haven't been there. I got things going on. I can't wait to get out of this Cabri and back into a 125, man. Or the 160 in these missions is actually what I'm really going for. Alright, what do we got? We're going with the runway 19. Okie dokie. If you say so. Ooh. What that a little too close. Need a little air extra dry. Nice model again. I dig it. The tail is almost on the ground for that one. That's an improvement. Before we were seeing the tail draggers with just horizontal. I like it. I also like that company name on the side there. I just want to paint it. I don't want a marshmallow. Let's just go ahead and start the boarding now before I even jump in here. What do you say? Missed it last time. She's walking with authority. Let's go. Ah, Saturday can't come around fast enough for you, huh? It was fun to do. First time I went through it, though, man, with that orange screen of smoke, it was pretty wild. Let's go ahead and crank her up. See, this EFB folds away. I like that. You wearing your seatbelt, little lady? She is. We're good to go. We got throttle up. We're in. RPMs look, coming back up. Hitting that 106, 108, 1. Wow, she got up there. That rotor spinning back in there. Got control authority. Reset them trims. Shall we? I think what I'd do, you know what I'm going to do before I take off? Because I don't like what my tail rudder's doing right now. I'm going to go play with my curves a little bit more. Let's put her down. Just sit down right here, young lady. We'll be back after these commercial messages. We're going to go into our settings real quick. Get into our controls. I want to adjust the sensitivity of my pedals, which are a product of the throttle system. I don't like how long those take to load into. We'll search by the input. It's not recognizing. There it is. Interesting. Okay. Did it revert the slider? So the sensitivity I've got up right now to 0.5, but what I think I need to do is actually bring the extremity dead zone back up just a touch. And then we're going to take the sensitivity to something like maybe I want a little higher. Let's see what that does. You can remove the EFB from any aircraft by clicking the little power button on the top right of the tablet and bring it back with the mount. You're just full of all kinds of tips today, boy. I love it. It's a little better. Still pretty. It might be a little bit too sensitive. It might be that time of the month for that thing right there. Yeah, let's go ahead and change that one more time. We'll even just stay in the air. We'll go back into that settings menu. Controls. Let's take a little sensitivity out of that. You play with your curves. Let's go a little bit lower. I think that might be the solution. So let's go down to something like a 2 and then bring the dead zone back down to where I had it. she still likes to just kind of twitch. Either way, moving on. We'll get there. It's a good thing to do if you guys don't know about how to use those curves, man. I've got a couple of videos up there too that have included some of that information on there as well to kind of alter the sensitivities and different dead spaces of your control surfaces so you can get a little bit of a smoother movement out of your tails. Cyclics, anything that really that has sort of, wow, well, you just, hey, buddy, hey, watch where you're going. Are you seriously going to park right there? Not okay, home slice. I don't think my passenger's going to like that very much. Goodness. All right, where were we? I think we were trying to get into a hold short. And again, in order to trigger the ATC, I'm gonna land in my hold short. I do need to bring that ATC back up anyway. Oh, hard landing.
Echo Bravo Golf Bravo traffic SAR. Heli 241 Golf Charlie Romeo 410 is taxiing to runway 19.
Crucial. Sensitivities, controls are everything. If you don't get in there and start manipulating those features, flying the aircraft is sometimes nearly impossible. Or it's always a lot harder than it needs to be. Jersey, straight from Jersey. There's a little bit of a delay on the chat, but yeah, man. Dude's got no regard for the people around him at all. I'm walking here. Interesting setup. Looks like we've got some things happening with these runway lights.
It's quite all right, actually.
Just turned around the wrong way. I'm walking here. We'll announce a takeoff, depart straight out, because why not? It's going to require us to come up to 300. On the road again. I really do want to know how to get these over 75% too. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm showing them animals, I'm taking them around. Sometimes I'll even do like 2 orbits around the same point of interest with no improvement in the performance. If I stay all the way down in like 45 knots, that doesn't do anything. And there's so many different, kind of things that could play into why that's not getting up to a 100% for sightseeing. There's something interesting in the background over here where that first frame is. It just went through the frame. I almost want to deviate from the flight plan to see what that is. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. Excuse me. Young lady, I know we're here to sightsee, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to go find out what that is. We're going to get back to your mission right after these messages. And we're going to get there a lot quicker than 60. Yeah, everything I've tried, 75% is like all you can get out of it. Oh, I took one dude for a ride. I was whipping him around, just getting real close to the trees over some of the fields, and I think I made him sick. The score on that one was horrible, but I had a great time. I was whipping him around pretty good. Just to see what would happen to the scores and whatnot. See, they pay more attention, and this is just, again, my opinion, but I think they pay more attention to fixed wings because there's a larger audience for fixed wings than there is for helos. So they're fixing those first. That's the bread and butter of Microsoft since the start. Yeah, I wish we could get like real-time facial reactions too. Like we could watch them just open their mouth in horror. Their hands come off their lap. Yeah, you know, just try to grab the cyclic or whatever, you know. Very interesting. What do we have going on here? I mean, got a nice little church happening. And again, I'm going to give this woman a ride. We're going to go see some things. I hope she's in for it. Because I'm very curious what this little structure is right here. I don't think I've ever been here before. What is that? It's like a molecule diagram or something on stilts. Got a little bit of a stadium over here on the right. Let's take it for a cruise. Let's see a few things. I've got another really nice looking temple in the background over there too. What is that? You better be liking this. Not to mention, my pedals are all of a sudden sticky just under my feet. Ooh, look at the line. Look at the fidelity on this model. The cloud reflections? Are you even kidding me right now? Too bad you can't see the helicopter in it. Now that would be more than just a little impressive if you could see our own reflection in that thing. Either way, the cloud mapping on those reflections. She's looking good this time around, Microsoft. She's getting the extended flight. I mean... And this is base sim. These aren't even with third-party add-ons. Some of these stadiums were just atrocious in 2020. Look at the fidelity on this. Absolutely incredible. What a difference. Wow. I don't know if you guys have noticed this too, but on apartment buildings and stuff like that where there are balconies, those all just used to be flat surfaces and the balconies were just painted on. Now if you fly up to an apartment building that has balconies, there is a three-dimensional balcony on that building. These are a little bit lower res, but these points of interests that they're putting into the maps are definitely getting some more attention, that's for sure. Getting some more high objects on the ground. Looks like an antenna. Not really modeled too great, but again, that's my graphics settings taking care of that. Oh, well, let's see if we, I mean, there's water. Do we have animals? I haven't seen any yet. I'm trying to stay relatively close to the flight path, but kind of go a little around. maybe that's part of the experience more than what she is asking for. Oh yeah, she's slipping me some payola. That's another golf course over there. Yeah, these rudder pedals, man, they're sticky. I want to get a different HOTAS. I've enjoyed this Thrustmaster, but it's not really smooth movement on the specifically the rudder pedals. It's the T16000M that I'm using. And if I haven't showed you before, I'll show you again what these computer specs look like. I am not pushing anything. Well, I mean, it's a little special. It's a little special. Just as far as the RAM goes, you know. Got a lot of RAM in here. Cooking 128 gigabytes of RAM on a 2950X Threadripper. Only a 2080 Ti graphics card, and this is still what we're getting. With low settings. Once you start pushing those settings up, it still works just fine. I just can't stream at the same time. The automaton molecule in Brussels. See? You should just be sitting as a co-pilot right now and, you know, kind of just telling everybody what we're seeing. You'll be our narrator. I find it interesting that the POI flag wasn't over that. I'm going to go out to this temple that we see here just off the nose after this orbit. Once again, deviate from the flight plan, but try to expand the experience. Let's get that nose turned back into it for her too. I'm a little out of orbit there. Came around a little better. None of us do, sweetheart. None of us do. There's so much to see and do. 2020 is a thing of the past for sure. I've heard a couple people debating whether or not they were going to just dump 2020 off of their machine, and I think I might just do it. I've got it on disc. You know, I could always bring it back as long as they keep supporting it, but why would I at this point? You know, I'm all in. I do think maybe making some more comparison videos a little bit later into the process when they got more and more of these bug fixes complete. It would be very interesting again to pull that back up and just do like a throwback. Well, this is what we came from. You know, I think that would be an interesting perspective. I like getting carried away. Why not? It's supposed to be a 45-minute flight for this woman anyway. Maybe that is what's happening, because if you just follow flight plans, you're never on a 45-minute flight, which is also something that I haven't done, is use the timer. Okay. Sightseeing steps. It wants me to go back down. Okay, because I've got my next option right there. Yeah. I think what I'm going to do is actually catch that one first, since it's expecting me to. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Let's do that one first. What do you say? It took a long way to get here, that's for sure. Just want that nose to come around just a little more so she's got more visibility out of her window. See, as soon as I do that, I get a response out of her. That's the one thing that is actually truly important to this as you're making these orbits, is to make sure that that passenger's windshield is in an orientation where they've got a good view. That option to do the full planning is coming. As far as I know, that should be integrated into career mode, not just on the other side of it. I'm pretty sure helicopters will be updated last, but you know, it'll happen. All right, let's go check out the temple now. That next waypoint is only 2 miles away, so let's see what we got over here. Are you game? She's game. Loving it. See, because my bubble right now, as far as fidelity goes, is really low with my graphics settings. But when I'm out here and I'm pushing my graphics harder, those buildings would not look that chunky this far away. Extra 100. We landed the. Have you ever tried to land? Extra hundo here. Let's go on some swings for a minute. Great model though. Look at the textures on this thing. She's talking to me about how I communicate on the radio, which is something I haven't done in a hot minute. While we're taking this orbit, let's just tune into approach real quick, as I interrupt everyone's glorious view of this beautiful building here. Stained glass up front. Just saying hi, everybody. We got the horse model up here. Looks like it is contained in blocks. It's close. She's got to love what we're giving her. Oh, it will ding you. As soon as you touch the ground, you get the little red flag. You're not supposed to touch it. You're not supposed to land here. 100%. You don't like that. This thing, though. The textures. Base sim. These world updates that they're going to push, which are coming, like you said. And what an improvement. Just bravo to the team, man. This is absolutely amazing. Out of the box. Oh yeah, I was talking to ATC, wasn't I? It'll be curious to see if we get the 100 or if we get stuck at 75 again. Because again, we're taking her around, we're showing her more things. I might actually wind up coming around this little spot of buildings over here and just taking a different approach. We'll show her even more. Come up the river a little bit. I think that's how we'll get there. See, she keeps talking to me, which is good. When they get quiet, that's when things go real wrong. That's when things get bad. I like when they keep talking. That feedback from your passengers seems to be relatively important to the score. Just trying different things, trying to get that back to a hundo. No, that one's still a little blocky, but those balconies are 3D. But again, if I were to have my graphics up, I don't think those would be as blocky. Ooh, we got a nice little cathedral over here too. It is on the way to the loop, so we're definitely going to stop this.
I expected to be able to at this time, but I don't. And here.
Not as high fidelity, definitely. However, low graphics settings are coming into play. It still looks better than 2020. All 18 world updates from 2020 were straight away. All POIs and airports were missing. So, wow. You're following this a heck of a lot closer than I am, my man. I'm just enjoying it. Next one is WU19 Brazil. World Update 19, huh? Coming around the corner. Interesting. Very interesting. Got some trees that are missing some work down here. They're popping in a little bit at a time. All right, young lady, this is what you came to see. Maybe stay a little inside the bubble this time. For maybe half of the orbit. And then we'll slide back out. She's still talking. Something else that everybody really needs to pay attention to is if their cyclic has a twist on it, if they haven't already disabled the functionality. Disabling that functionality of the twisting cyclics is also extremely important, so you're not using that as a rudder authority while you're using your rudders. That throws helicopters into a little bit of a seizure. Yeah, I agree completely. I've been waiting for something like this for an extreme amount of time. And right now, I almost think that I'm spending too much time in this. I know my woman certainly does, but she understands like just how much I love to fly and what it means to me. I mean, my grandfather was a war pilot, the Navy. He taught me how to fly remote controlled airplanes when I was just a kid, and then I became an RC helicopter pilot. After he passed away, I, kind of took some of his homemade aircraft into my collection, and I'll always keep them near and dear to my heart. Flight is just everything to me. It's so much fun. It's relaxing. And to have a digital twin where I can just get in a chopper and fly anywhere at any time. Oh, let's go see Machu Picchu, which is something I would really like to check out in this Sims. 2024 version is Machu Picchu. Something like Göbekli Tepe, some of these other sites, to see what they're doing on those parts of the world. The Nazca lines, I really want to see if they've modeled the Nazca lines in. And just having that at your fingertips in this resolution is so much fun. We're in a downwind, but we're over another field here. I think we give this young lady one more shot at some animals. We might have something there over the tree line, but it might be a power line at the same time. But I'm going to go investigate anyway. Yeah, this is so close to accurate. It's so close. The controls feel so good. When you get an aircraft dialed in, it feels really good. Real good. So close to the real thing. It's like, oh, what is happening? How are they even able to do this? The amount of physics data that they have to be mathing is astonishing. What an incredible undertaking. And then let's go ahead and just take it up another step and say, yeah, you know what? We're going to give you animals on the planet, all of their migratory patterns. All the boats, they're going to update every 30 seconds. It's incredible. Crashes to desktop, full system freezes or not. This is amazing. See right here, the quick up. Now all of a sudden the quick wants to work. See, it just every once in a while it gets a little bugged out and that quick reply doesn't work, even though it's bound. What's funny is my brother has always been interested into flight too. He's 3 years older than me. He's actually taken his test twice and failed both times because in his infinite wisdom he decided to deviate from his flight plan. Not once, but twice. Kind of stellar. Not exactly what you want to be doing when you're getting your pilot's license, but that's what he did. So now he works for Federal Express. Not flying anywhere. Not even in sim as far as I know. Don't really talk to him too much. Thankfully. I dyed the grass on that one too. We're not going to dive into family. I don't want to go there. Got some more fields here though. Let's see if we got some animals down here. I want this woman to see some more animals. I think we're just crops. I think these are all just crops. I'm not going to find anything down here. It would be cool to see a couple cows though, even though we've seen them before. Deviating from my flight plan as I speak about it. That's good stuff. But I've already passed my PPL and my CPL, so I can deviate in a simulator. Ah, see, I found him. It was worth it. I got him. Directly here off of underneath her. Coming up on the left side. There is a herd down there. See, you got lucky too, young lady. Moo and oink. I want to see if this stuff helps with that percentage. So I'm going to, if I come across them in my flight while I've got a passenger on board, I'm going to make the effort to put them over the top of them at least for a little bit so they can check them out. The movements are a lot smoother and they're not jumpy. Those cows haven't had any medications today. Everything seems to be pretty chill down there. I didn't see anything. Did you see anything? I didn't see anything. There's quite a bit to see in this area, too. Nice little spot.
Echo Bravo Golf Bravo traffic SAR. Heli 241 Golf, Charlie Romeo, 410.
Got another bus. Jersey boy is back. He's just taking laps around. I'm going to see if I can put it down by that taxiway. Slow and slow approach right there. I don't mind. She doesn't mind. Smooth and steady wins the race. You want me to hold short all the way at the end of the runway? Come on, man. The taxiway is right here. This is another thing that I would kind of like to impress upon them is if we're at these, you know, private airports, smaller ports, do we have to be forced to do this, or can we maybe choose a path, our hold short, our parking and everything like that, or is it just always going to be forced on us? Because having to take these little extra paths is like, everything's right there. And then you're just going to make me go around the world to get right back where I started. Either way, apparently I'm going for a ride. I should have been able to exit the runway right there, though. Could have performed a hold short right there. And once again, I'm probably going to have to come into a landing at the hold short to trigger ATC and the taxi to parking. Today, I think I just actually did more harm than good with my tail rotor, honestly. Even with the quick reply, it doesn't trigger it. It's going to make me come down again to trigger ATC into the taxi to parking. Can I do it while I'm in the air, though? Nope. See, it just hangs out with announced taxi. And then you land and it says, I mean, can we please see the little things like that where it's just taking my hands off the controls. I could probably wind up, you know, doing more key binding investigations and see if I can clean some of that stuff up, make that ATC communication a lot easier to do, but yeah, I'm sure it is about how the airport works and everything like that. However, you could request from the tower that you do a, you know, especially when you're in like the search and rescue missions, you're there on a time constraint. I mean, obviously I'm just doing some flight seeing right now. We got a little more time on our hands, but for that SAR mission, a lot of the times they're just going to go and do an approach right to the ramp. Another nice model right there with the bell. Got way up off the ground. hit mute so I'm not coughing into the microphone. You're welcome. See, look at the parking spots half in the corner of the building. I'm not going to be able to park there. Now what? I'm going to park as close to it as I can. Brilliant. That's good. I'm not getting any closer than about right there. Rough. Should I try to scoot a little closer? Should I see if I can get the skids in there? At least one skid? I might be able to go all the way. Okay. Okay. Nice parking spot. This is the reserve spot for VIPs only. That's brilliant. Good times had by all. Total pro? I don't think so, my man. That was just a test. I mean, I didn't impact. I got pretty good clearance on that rotor arc. I'm in there. A couple feet. Digging it. Oh, look at that. Look at the helicopter now. Hey. 77%. I just don't get it. I don't understand. Even with a performance like that, when you're talking about that kind of a landing that close to the building, I get paid with it throwing my helicopter around. Paint. Psh. I mean, all you're doing is covering things up at that point, right? You don't need paint. 790, 79, 500. Whatever's clever. I'll take another 23. Moving on. Are we going back up? A pretty good bump right there. That crash hurt, man. I was so close to the S level. It was not okay. Well. Again, I've told you guys that I like to do this on the way out of these, so every time I'm finished with my company for the day, I'm going to manage my company. I'm going to go ahead and get into my chopper's management of the aircraft. I have 7 hours left. I'll probably get back into this thing before 7 hours are up. I don't know. It's 8 o'clock at night right now. Maybe not. We'll come back to it and see what happens. Screw it. Let's pay for it. Check up. We'll give her a wash. And when you come into the repaint, literally right now, it's just, do you want to repaint or cancel? You know, I don't want to repaint. I want to redesign. There should be 2 different buttons. Just open up a different menu set instead of just going through to the next one. Either way, we're going to close that down. We're going to hop in, and we're going to make that crew in an off configuration so they can go ahead and rest up for the next one. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, as I like to say, it's been a blast. It's been a ball. We're comparing 2024 and 2020, and right now it's hands down the winner. 2024 is cooking it. I'm loving it. Hopefully you're loving it. DRT, thanks for all the information today, man. You're a champ. I really appreciate it. I'll go ahead and make sure that I get into that folder, clean some of that stuff out, put together some more key bindings, and we're going to work on it, man. Really appreciate you guys being here. The graphics between 2020 and 24, bar none, thousands of times better. The fidelity in everything is better. Flight models are coming along nicely. Everything is coming along very well. The menu systems still need quite a bit of work. I would like to go check out our little spot there. This base that you're seeing right now is the Rotorcraft Support Center in Southern California that I love flying at. We should get to flying over there one of these days real soon. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's all. It's been a